Welcome back to the episode 6 of Moving on Purpose podcast. This is Cooley.
Peace, your boy B Stu.
Man, we happy to be back. 2 live. Episode 6 episodes. Do it feel like we did 6?
It don't feel like it at all.
Man, we having too much fun. Say time flies when you're having fun, right?
Yes, sir.
Welcome back to the podcast where we peel back the layers of marriage, fatherhood, and life in law enforcement while mixing in some humor and some self-reflection, man, all while moving on our purpose. We appreciate y'all for joining us for episode 6. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend, tap your neighbor, say, neighbor. Get locked into this podcast, man. They talk about some stuff, some real talk with some real people. And, you know, it's straight shooter, no chaser, no fluff. So we're happy to be back here with you. And for episode 6, we are going to focus on the law enforcement aspect. Law enforcement. What we talking about, Stu? What we talking about?
Man, we're just talking about maybe some funny calls you may have had, some calls that could have changed your perspective, you know, when it comes to policing.
And then how we deal with it.
And how you cope with it.
And how we deal with it. So, all right, let's start it off lighthearted, man, because we've been talking about some deep stuff. Yeah. So I know, like we said, you've been on 45 minutes now.
Hey, I can't even get an hour, man. You be killing me, man. Come on, man.
You almost had an hour.
Yeah.
Have you had a funny call yet? Have you had one that was like, man, I can't believe that happened, man? That was funny.
Yeah, I had some funny calls, man. CIT, I've had some funny moments on that. I've been on some calls with some of my boys, and, you know, you try to keep your composure. But you just can't help laughing at certain things, man. Certain things when they funny, I know it's people in need in a manic state, but God damn it, I'm human.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes you gotta walk away. It's like, you remember those old episodes of Martin where he would break character?
Oh, yeah,
or Tommy and Cole would break character?
Yeah.
You got to do that on the scene sometime where it's like...
Sometimes you got to walk out the way of other people's body cam when you got to break that scene or whatnot.
All of a sudden, I got this itch in my throat. I got to walk over here and I'll be right back.
I'm going to walk that way, you know what I'm saying? I got to,
And it's real in the field. It's real in the field. So I got a funny one, dog. You know, I do my story time, man.
All right, what you got for us?
So I was on patrol. It was me and my partner. So we was riding together on the south side. So we way over there off of like Fondren. And we get a call that an officer, he's riding by himself off of Hillcroft. So that's a little bit of a gap. You can take Bissonnet all the way. So he's like, hey, I stopped. There was a car stopped in the street on Hillcroft. I turned my lights on because I thought the car had broke down. I was going to get him a record. And when I turned my lights on, they took off. So as he's going behind them, he runs the plate, comes back stolen. Now he's asking for units. So we hear a couple of units getting ready to check by, but we know that those units really are kind of scared and they ain't really going to be some good backup. So we like, hey, man, we need to head over there from the other side of the district. So we getting over there. Everybody's trying to get over in that area because we can hear them. The person who's driving is going in the circle. So if they're going in the circle, what you think they get ready to do?
They're just going to keep going in a circle and they're going to pass you.
Well,
whoever the check by units, they're going to pass you eventually.
Yeah, well, no, if they're going in the circle, they're looking for somewhere to jump out and run.
Okay.
So they like, man, we looking for that good spot to get out and either run in between
so
here.
So invade on feet.
Exactly.
Feet.
So we trying to get over there. And as he's going in the circle, he crashes. There's a driver and a passenger. The driver gets out and runs. The passenger takes off. Well, the officer
same direction or different direction?
Different directions.
All right.
So the unit, he's still by himself.
Yeah.
He gets out and chases down the driver. He gets him on the ground, gets him in custody.
Okay.
He gives out as much of a description as he can on the passenger, and he's gone, right? And so me and my partner, we there. Everybody's kind of arriving at the same time. We're over there like Vernon Bayland Park,
right?
On the southwest side. If you know, it's a big old park, like huge. And so everybody's trying to set up a perimeter, meaning the outside, so that if he's in there somewhere, we can kind of converge and bring the dog in, right?
Yeah.
So I'm telling my boy, I was like, man, we should probably set up. He's like, nah. He said that boy had too much time. He did probably got outside the perimeter. Let's go over here. Me and my partner had a good, he had a good gut feeling sometime. I had a good gut feeling. So I went with it. I said, that's a big go over there. So he goes over there on the side. As we go down the side street, everybody doing this. Like, he running that way,
so
he running that way. So we found him. So we go to this this apartment complex, and it's like November.
Okay.
So it's like cold. So the apartment complex was locked. So I said, all right, man, I'm going to hop out. I'm going to hop the fence. I'm going to walk in and see if I see him. I'll meet you on the other side. Okay. So I hop the fence. I'm walking through. Hey, have you seen so-and-so wearing this? Hey, have you seen the dude wearing this? Hey, have you seen a man doing this? I'm walking through. And now I'm walking past the pool. As I walk past the pool, it's November. It's cold outside. I'm walking. I see a dude in the pool. I take a step back.
Please don't tell me he was fully clothed.
I said, hey man, what the hell you doing? He in the pool doing the backstroke with his clothes on, right? So I'm like, hey bro, how about the pool? Man, come talk to me, right? Yeah. So the pool is locked. So obviously this is most likely my suspect. Yeah. So his pants are right there, his shoes are right there. He hops out the pool. He hops the pool fence. Pool fence ain't short either. It's about your height.
Right.
He hops it. He's standing right here. I said, okay, this boy athletic. All right, let me take a step back. So I'm like, hey man, what do you stay here? Yeah, I stay in unit so and so. I said, is that the first one? Second one? I said, okay, that's what's up, man. Well, cool. Go ahead and turn around, put your hands behind your back. I get my handcuffs off. He said, hell no, and took off running. So he gone in his like wet. He takes off, he slips, and I'm running behind him. So when you run and chase somebody, you gotta give out a description. So I'm running through the complex chasing him.
Slippery wet.
I said, I got a suspect running, a black male, gray shirt, yellow socks, blue drawers. I said that on the air. So the dispatchers was making fun of me for saying drawers on the air.
Right.
So he runs to a cast iron fence like 11 feet. Over that boy. Jumped it. Yeah. So I'm like, you remember the Men in Black movie when that damn alien ran up the side of that? I say, what kind of alien is this? So I'm like, all right, well, we got him. So he hops it. It's a narrow street. All the officers are converging on him, right? So I'm taking my time. I got all this stuff on. I'm hopping the fence. And while I'm hopping it, I see him run past the first officer. It's a female. She's like 4'11". Instead of her driving beside him, she puts it in park and runs behind him like, don't you run from me? And so she's chasing behind him. An old school Hispanic officer pulls up against the fence and like pins him in. Right. He jumps out like, ha, got you. Turn around, put your hands behind. Boop, boop, shook his ass. Right? So he running back towards little mama, right? The female officer. And so as she's going, she tries to tackle him. He day shook her. Hit her with one of these and spun off over. She hit the ground. So at this point, I'm on the fence like laughing.
I gotta see this
like
body cam.
When this before body cam. That's how long I was on the street, brother. You aging me. So I'm laughing while I'm getting off the fence. And as I'm getting off the fence, he running back doing all this. And I'm running. I size him up, grab him, slam him. And I'm laughing while I'm putting the handcuffs on his back. So like, that's one of them calls where
got a little out of hand.
It got out of hand, but it was hilarious. Like you can't make that stuff up. You can ask anybody else was on that scene, they'll tell you. My boy saw me tackle him, and he was like laughing at everything that happened. Right. And so the dude, he was like, "Man, go get my pants." I'm like, I wanted to ask him, I'm like, "Bro, why was you in the water? Like, were you trying to get the scent off of you so that the dog wouldn't smell it? He would smell chlorine, but like it was a dead giveaway. You in your he had the yellow Kobe socks."
That's how you.
He had the yellow Kobe socks on and his underwear, and so we ended up taking him to jail. And that's just a call that I'll never forget. And what people got to understand is like, we'll talk about some of those like serious calls.
But let me ask you, once you detain him, how was that ride to JPC?
I ain't take him. I wasn't even primary. I just caught somebody. You remember the primary officer was the one that got behind the car.
Gotcha.
So I felt like, hey, I caught him. I caught the fish. Y'all got to take it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So somebody else transported him. I had dirt on my pants. I was like, I'm ready to go eat lunch and do my supplement. But it was just one of them calls that I'll never forget, man. And it's like the majority of our calls, if anybody who's thinking about going into law enforcement, it's like that. Like the majority of your calls are like funny. The majority of your calls are just interactions. The majority of your calls are going to be documentation.
Like, why did they call this in?
Yeah, and you're like, okay, this is what y'all. So you don't know the difference between when you should call 911 and when you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. There's plenty of serious stuff for you to come in contact with, and we'll talk about that in a second. There's plenty of death and violence and all that, but I would say more than half of your calls are going to be funny ones. Right. More than half of your calls are going to be just interactions with the public, interactions with people having a bad day. And you got to be that counselor for them, that therapist for them, and talk them through like the worst day of their life. Yeah. And then you got to document it and do a report. So for all y'all out there that think that, policing is, you ride around the car, you chase people and you take people to jail, like that's a small part of it. That's a very small part of it. And if you're lucky enough, you'll end up coming across these calls like this where you'll remember and be able to laugh about it.
I'm not going to go off a funny call. I'm going to go off of just a time. I usually ride solo, but the times I do ride with somebody, I got a partner that I ride with. And, man, he loves traffic stops. I'm not a fan of traffic stops. I'm not DPS, so I leave that to them and all that type of stuff. So, for me, we were driving around. I was driving that night. He was, working with the MDT. He was like, pull this car over. I'm like, nope, I'll go around it. He's like, pull this car over. I'm like, nope, I'm not pulling cars over.
Yeah.
We're not doing that tonight. He just likes to write tickets and do stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So we finally get behind another car, and he just turns the sirens on for me. And I was like, so now I got to pull over because we done lit it up. He didn't turn his body cam on. And so we pull the car over or whatnot. The lady is obviously lying to him. She's no registration, no driver's, like, and he was going to let her slide. He was going to give her a warning, but she lied to him and stuff like that. So we go back.
Personal, like Michael Jordan.
Yeah, he just like, man, I was going to let her slide, but she lied about everything. She would have told the truth, man. She would have been, I'm give you a warning. So, he ended up giving her a ticket or whatnot. We get back in the car, and this asshole going to say, I appreciate you making that stop for me, man, and giving me that ticket. But just moments like that when you got a partner that likes to do something, and you trying to. I avoided like 3-4 stops that night. I'm like, we're not doing this night. He got fed up and he ran that thing, hit that light, and I was like, now we got to pull him over and do stuff like that.
So do you ride with him more often than not, or y'all mostly ride solo and like check by with each other?
Mostly ride solo and then just check by.
That's smart, man. Because I've told you. Like for y'all out there that's getting ready to get on patrol, you got to police the same. You might be boys, you might be girls, you might be classmates, but if you don't police the same and you don't go about your shift and go about your calls and interacting with people, it'll mess your whole shift up. I'm not trying to do no dog. I'm not trying to do no traffic either.
Nah, he my boy.
I'm run these calls.
We police different, but we can police and work together. But not every day.
Yeah. Small doses.
Maybe once or twice a week. He work like he off Red Bulls, energy drinks all night. I'm more mellow. Our work car gonna look similar, but I approach it differently. Yeah. So I do it like that.
Man, I was blessed to have a good partner, man. We really even each other out. He was chill, I was chill too. But like he didn't mind doing accidents. He's actually in accident division now. I could not stand doing
accidents, man.
He liked them. I ain't like them, dog.
I don't like the programming where we have to put the accidents.
I don't like none of it. I don't like the programming. I don't like. Nobody's gonna say it was their fault.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
So you listening to two sides. Everybody lying to you. Now you got to come up with what happened, and you still put their statements.
Bro, we had that down to a science. We'll pull up, get that information. I go get that information and stuff, give it to him. He already doing the accident report before we even leave the scene. By the time I give him they, tote slip or the
it's a process, man. Everything is documentation.
It is.
For those who do not know, policing is you're documenting everything. You writing reports. You write in tow slips, you write in tickets. Everything that we doing, you have to document. Yeah. We're just report writers and document takers and stuff like that. So for those who don't know, it's not run and gun all day, action like the movies and things like that. And I think for me, my moment in policing where I was like, damn, man, this shit ain't like the movies, man. This ain't Beverly Hills Cop or Bad Boys 2. My first week on field training, I had a shooting homicide on the freeway. Caught the suspect, chasing the suspect on the freeway with a TAC team. And I'm my first week, I think it was my second day with my field trainer.
Yeah. So
I'm jumping across the 288 and trying to go, got my taser out, they got their firearms out, and we ended up getting them. And then now we got to look for the body. So
how'd y'all know that he killed somebody?
It was called in. Okay. So there was construction workers on the overpass, and they were pointing down like, he's right there. We saw him shoot, the suspect. I mean, the complainant or whatnot. Yeah. So we don't see the complainant on site. So we walk about 1.5 miles on the freeway. We close the freeway down and everything. And there he is in between on the freeway. Dead body, shot in the back twice.
Was it like some road rage?
It was homeless on homeless.
Wow.
Yeah, the suspect that we caught stole a gun from wherever he stole a gun from. The gun was stolen. We caught him. He didn't speak English. He shot it was a African-American male or whatnot. Yeah. So it was just homeless on homeless. I guess it was territorial where they would panhandle and ask for money, things like that. But that was my first moment where it was like, this is real. Like,
how long were you out the academy when you got that? A couple weeks?
Bro, that was my first week on field training. That was phase 1.
You was fresh out?
Fresh out. I'm on the news, everything. Shirt. People sending me pictures. This you? I'm like, damn, how you find that? Channel 13 News, where you get?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what it is, but every, scene I have, somebody finds me either on the news or on social media. So many people have sent me clips on different things, and I'm just like, damn, I'm in my zone.
That's why you gotta make sure you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You never know who got that
who
camera
watching.
in your face.
Yeah, I done made it on a bunch. Slab Sundays, I'm pulling guys over, arresting them for stolen vehicles. The guy that comes out in Houston and record, I'm on his page and different stuff like that. So
let me ask you this. So you caught a murder suspect.
Caught a murder suspect.
See your first dead body, your first week out there. When you went home, did you tell your wife about it, or was that something you kind of kept to yourself?
No, I told her about it. She was like, for real, like she had more questions. Yeah. I kind of lived it, because I witnessed it and stuff like that. And I just kind of told her what it was, and she was just like, "You all right? You good? You cool?" I'm like, yeah. I mean, you just got to get through it.
Let me ask you this. So that was some months ago. Did you, by chance, see that replaying in your head, or was it kind of like that happened? I was able to compartmentalize that, and I didn't replay that again. What I saw, because I remember my first one when I saw it too. That's why I'm asking.
I think after it happened, I think I thought about it for maybe a day or two.
Okay.
And then I let it go, and I just kind of moved on, because I know that's what the job entails. You're going to see things like that. You're going to see people on their worst days and stuff like that. So I thought about it for a couple days or whatnot, and was like, some crazy people out here, Then I just try to educate friends and family, like, I got to be careful, different things, road rage, whatnot. Yeah. And I think 2 weeks later, still on phase 1, right after roll call, they're like, "Hey, you need to go." No, I think I was on phase 2. You need to go relieve the day shift. Homicide. Another killing. So I get there. They don't really give me the details. I check with Sarge. I'm like, "Hey, I'm here to relieve, the day shift. I'm now on the evening shift now." And dead lady, unclothed, under the freeway. So I'm like, damn, this is my second dead body. I'm like, this area, man, it happened. So
it's a lot.
That one hit a little bit different. It was a female. She wasn't clothed. So you're thinking like of what sexual assault. Why is she under the freeway? In the manner of how it happened and stuff like that. So I was like, damn. Then you start thinking, like, I got a mom, I got my aunties, I got my wife, I got my daughters. You like, damn, empathy, man. Yeah. I'm like, y'all be safe. Y'all watch your surroundings and stuff like that. Yeah. And then, like I said, with that one, I think it was still the same process. Thought about it for 2 days. Told the people that I love them. And it went on.
But it wasn't something that you saw like it was replaying. You were losing sleep.
I'm not really big on replaying, and it's hunting me and stuff like that where I lose sleep. I know it happens, growing up in the inner cities that you grow up in, unfortunately you see things like that. So I'm not gonna say it was my first dead body. So you see stuff. So, but now you work on the other side of it instead of you being on the other side of the yellow tape and you like, what happened, man? Now you working the scene and you trying to get the information and write the reports and stuff like that.
And you can't be like, you gotta
handle the manner. You gotta do what you gotta do. Don't contaminate the scene and get in the way of homicide or the medical examiners, but do your job. Make sure people don't walk through it. Make sure you conduct the information, give it to whoever is, primary on the call. Yeah. And stuff like that. So
that's the reason I asked that, man, is because, it's good that you're able to do that, because a lot of folks can't compartmentalize this. You have to have a short memory with this job. Yeah. Because you're going to see things that other people have only seen on movies. Right. But it's actually real, right?
Yeah, it's not a movie
and
out
so
there.
What I will caution you of is, like, if you have something because you're going to have one, because I've had them, it's going to hit home and it's going to replay maybe more than the 2 days. Yeah. That's when you need to reach on those outlets. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I think for me, for the adults, I feel bad. Don't get me wrong. But I think for what you're talking about, for me, I think if it was to be a child or a kid, it might be like,
and that was one for me.
Like,
I had one, I was on day shift and we got a call to check by with HFD. And the mom was at work and the dad was there by himself. Now, I don't know what happened. I was just checking by, but it was like a 6-month-old baby. And HFD was in there working on him, trying to get him. And like the dad was freaking out, so we had to get him out of there. And the baby ended up passing away. And so I had just had my baby, my daughter, right? And so I'm like sitting there and this is my first time being around a child that had passed away. And the baby's eyes was wide open, but there was no life. And so by that time, mom then came, grandma then came. Everybody's starting to show up, and the crowd, it's in the middle of an apartment complex. And so HFD was like, hey, we going to keep working on them, but we need y'all to escort us to the back of the ambulance, and then we going to, you know, take them to the hospital, right? And so it was just one of those things where you have to maintain your professionalism.
It humanizes you right there.
And you have to get them out, and like people, they was falling out, screaming and crying.
So let me cut you off.
Yeah.
And ask you, in that moment, how did you keep it all together to work that scene?
I think about what I would need somebody to do for my family. Right. If something like that happened, because you can't think logically and you can't let things get out of hand. Yeah. And so it was like, hey, let's get this baby out here. Let's get them to the hospital. And then we're going to let, you know, everything kind of play out in the hospital. And hopefully they can work on them and possibly work a miracle on the way. Yeah. But I can't get caught up in my emotions and my baby and things like that. Mm-hmm. And you know, lose sight of what I need to do to process the scene. Right. And so like I did, like you, as soon as I got home, I hugged my kids and talked to my wife. And, you know, when I work sexual assault, you know, cases that are very vivid, it really makes me think about my mom, think about my sisters, think about my daughters, my wife. Yeah. And so I'll tell you like this, like you're going to be able to compartmentalize it and you may not play it back, but the longer you work where you are, when you drive past those areas where that stuff happened, you're going to see that body. Yeah.
Every time I drive past that freeway, I think about it. Every time I'm on it, you can't help it because you're still gonna go up and down.
Where I drive on the southwest side, I saw a body there. I saw a body there. I saw a body there. There was this body in there.
Everywhere you go is gonna be a different memory for a different call.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna be. You got to be real with yourself. And so I didn't do the best job of dealing with it. When I was a rookie, like I didn't. That baby bothered me. I took off. I had to take off a couple of days, and I had a really vivid sexual assault call that I took off a couple of days because that empathy got the best of me, and I was thinking about my sister and stuff like that. When really I should have leaned on peer support or leaned on psych services. Not that I was having a breakdown, but just like, hey, help me work these puzzle pieces out so I can get back to work. But what people don't understand is like these are all like homicides. These are all like, you know, things. We get called out. Anytime somebody passes away from natural causes or if there's foul play or, you know, there's an investigation that needs to be conducted, the police are called out. We're there when HFD calls the time of death.
Everything. Yeah. We have to be there to make a report, but then now we report and make those calls to homicide. And we explain what we have to homicide, especially if it's a natural, because I had a natural cause of death. And that one kind of hit a little bit different because I got called to it. Person died from cancer, but they were in their home of comfort with their family around. So it wasn't homicide. Like, you know, we're not going to come out because of, you know, the situation. Medical examiners, they just wanted the body to be released to the funeral home. Yeah. So, you know, the process was kind of simple, but like you said, now you got family members coming in. Some can hold it together. Some coming in there ecstatic and crying and emotional. And that just reminded me of, you know, losing my grandfather to cancer. Like different scenes and different, you know, calls that you have might make you remember a life event that you may have relived.
I'll ask you this, but did your experience with that allow you to empathize with them and then make it easier for you to support them?
Oh, absolutely.
Because a lot of folks, they just go robotic and they just like,
freeze.
Give me the information to this and give me the information. I got to make phone calls. Like, nah, man, these people just lost a loved one.
Nah, for
me, you got to show them that you care.
Yeah, for me, when I got into the situation, because I was still on training with that one, I just went straight into it. You know, I kind of allowed my field trainer, let me take this one. You know, so I explained the process and what I had to do for the wife of the husband that passed away, and I gave her time. I didn't rush her. This is what I need. I need to hurry up. So I gave her time. When she was able, when she calmed down, this is the information I need. Here's the process. This is what's going to happen. So just going through it in my own life allowed me to kind of be a better officer in that moment for that family.
Absolutely. How would you want somebody to talk to your mom when she just lost her father? Yeah. How would you want somebody to talk to your wife? You know what I mean?
Like a person, like a human. Absolutely. Not like I just came out the academy and this is how they told it. I wouldn't want that. You're not a robot.
It's the human element.
It's your people skills.
And this is a people's business as far as law enforcement. Like the better you are with connecting with people, the better that you are at meeting people where they are and leaning on those experiences that you had so that you can better serve these people and help them get through the toughest times in their life, the better you're going to be at this job. I'll say this, man, like, it's funny that you say your first week. My first call, my first day out the academy was a DOA.
Natural.
First call, my first day out the academy was a natural. He asked me, he was like, hey, man, we got a DOA. We got to check it off on your box and say that you work the scene so you know how to do it. He said, you want to knock it out or you want to wait? I say, might as well go ahead and knock it out.
Might as
and
well.
I remember walking in
Done
there,
for the day after that.
I remember walking into the house, and I think it was like their father was staying with them.
Right.
He stayed in the room right here. I remember walking in there. He had a heart attack, so he was stuck on the bed like this.
Yeah.
And I just remember walking like, oh. You know what I mean? Like
it's real.
Your heart kind of drops in your stomach a little bit, but you like, okay, all right, let's do your job. You know what I mean? So then I just immediately went into like, hey, I'm so sorry this happened. Yeah. This, that, and the other. Can you come outside with me? And then you start, going into investigative mode. Mm-hmm. But it was my moment. Like, hey, rookie, like it's real. Yeah, it's real in the field. So what you gonna do? You gonna sink or swim? And so once I figured out, like, okay, y'all, this is repetition. You become callous to it to a certain extent. The more bodies that you see and the more, death that you come across. Yeah. But
it's bad to say it like that.
It's going to affect you.
You have to have a different kind of mindset because I'm not going to say you're going to endure this every single day on your shift, but you're going to endure it at some point. And it might be a point where you're not doing good in your life and it might hit you differently. So you got to be mentally strong and being able to just perform the duties of your job and not allow it to overtake what you need to do at that time.
And let me ask you this, Stu. Once you had that scene and you saw that dead body and you did the report, were you like, all right, man, that was a messed up call. I just saw a dead body. I did the report. I'm going to go ahead and clock out. That's the end of the day. Mm-hmm. Is that how it works? Or or is that just one call in your day? And if it's at the beginning of your shift, you clear that call, and then you go on to the next call.
I mean, it depends on when it's on your shift. Like, if it's at the beginning, and depending on all those other concerned individuals that need to come out to take care of it, you might be like, yeah, I'm done for the day.
Boy, you was on field training. Y'all be taking too long. So when you got a little time on, man, it's and not listen. I got you because sometimes there's only two medical examiners in the whole city, and they might be tied up, right? Yeah, so it's rare that you'll be on it all day, but I got you. But the reason it was kind of
asked to get off of it because I'm like you said, I'm in the field training program.
You don't want to get stuck.
I'm like, all right, we did all we got to do. Can we get
somebody hold this until they come so we can go?
Can we get to some other stuff today? Like, I didn't. But as you get along and now you're on your own and stuff like that, it depends. You got some officers that might sit on that all day.
You true. That's true. But if you're a secondary officer, you still saw the body. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, true.
So say you the primary, you holding it, you're waiting, you stuck.
Yeah.
Now I'm secondary, I see this body and the circumstances in which it happened, and I'm helping control and kicking. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, I saw the body too. I'm done for the day. Nah, y'all. That ain't how it works. You got to go to the next call.
I haven't been able to do that, but I don't want to sit on that all day.
Well, I'm telling you, it's more of a rhetorical question. Like, the reason I'm saying that is I'm trying to bring people to the understanding that, like,
the job has to be done.
This job and the job of a paramedic, who I have all the respect for in the world.
Yeah, they see all type of stuff.
You see so much stuff, and you have to keep it moving. You got to do your job, do your report, and go on to the next call. You see a bad accident where people get ejected, they get transported, you do the report, you do the accident report, you go on to the next scene.
Move.
So it takes a special type
Even
of person.
All y'all that
see the raise and the money and get caught up in that, like, this job ain't for everybody. It takes a special type of person to be able to compartmentalize this and be honest with themselves and lean on, those resources and their support, because it can weigh on you heavy. Right, and you don't want to lean on those negative things like drinking and stuff like that. So I'll say this is the most rewarding job without somebody patting me on my back, as far as me seeing the impact of me actually helping people in the community that I've ever had. It's the easiest job as far as common sense and me being able to communicate and understand. All I'm doing is talking and finding solutions to problems, but it's also the hardest job that I've had at the same time, as far as like what I see. Okay. And what I'm exposed to.
I could agree to that.
Yeah. So I mean,
I got one.
Okay.
Let's talk about the end of your shift and a code 1 or code 2 drops.
Okay.
Drops over the air. Dispatch calls it out or whatnot. Mm-hmm. And you waiting to see who they dispatch. Tell me that moment. How's that for you, or your experiences with that? So for those who don't understand, at the end of your shift, knowing you're about to get off, something crazy might drop, a code 1, code 2. That's high priority. So you have to, lights sirens, all that.
Yeah.
Not too many people are going to volunteer at the end of their shift for it. So you on the other end, listening on the mic and praying they don't call your numbers for that.
So to break it down for the people that's watching and listening, the way it works is like people call 911. If they dial 911, several people dial 911, it goes into the queue to the dispatch as far as the priority. People need to get out there right away. Can we get out there in a little bit? It depends. Now, if it's a high priority call like Stu is talking about, somebody got to go. It don't matter if you about to get off and the other shift is about to come on.
No matter
somebody
if you want to call
get
or
out
not.
there and figure it out, right? And so what I'll say is, I wasn't worried because I knew I had already put the work in the other time during the shift. And what I mean by that is,
so you thought you were good. They were gonna call somebody else who's been sitting on a
of
call
10,
all night.
I didn't ran these calls all day. I didn't ran these calls all night. I didn't empty the board for this dispatcher.
So you built that rapport with that dispatcher. All right.
It ain't. I ain't gonna say build no rapport. You ain't supposed to do that. I ain't got no friendship,
right.
But I'm a worker. So Are you gonna send the person who's been working all shift? Or are you going to send the person who's been hiding under a tree waiting for you to send them something?
But sometimes the dispatchers are human. So sometimes you could be working all shift and whatnot, and they still might call your number.
Got charged to the game, brother. That's what you signed up for. That's what
you on the other side like, damn, man. Go ahead and send it.
Hey, baby, I'm going to be late. I need you to pick the kids up because I'm not getting off when I thought I was getting off. Man, that's just how it is, man.
My dispatcher called me at the end of the shift. I think I was on something. And then other people were, dispatchers know what you're sitting on. I got one boy, I ain't going to say no names. My man sit on calls for a long time. He should have got it.
Yeah.
It was a crash that happened. So crash, we talked about crashes on, the episode or whatnot. Not a fan of crashes because of the system in which you have to input them in and do stuff like that. So, okay, crash, go ahead. They call my numbers. All right, go ahead, send it. I'm going to knock it out. I'm thinking I'll be able to knock it out. I got my report. Just do a report. Yeah, I get there. Car flipped over on the curb. People ejected out. Ooh. They hit another car. And now it went from crash to DWI investigation. Yeah, man, this happened around, I want to say like 3:30, 4 o'clock on the shift.
And you supposed to get off at 7?
I get off at 7.
What time did you get off?
Man, I got off, I want to say, without doing everything, I got off probably around, I want to say like 8:30. I got everything done. AM.
You got a DWI day?
Investigation. So all I had to do was get the blood warrant. Oh. Yeah, because we couldn't place the person in the car.
Oh, yeah,
so I got lucky. But I done got some DWIs at the end of my shift. Now with those, they're 5 hours. 5 hours.
That's nasty.
Yeah. And my man was asleep in
the
car
lucky.
running sleep. I'm like, come on,
don't take
man.
for granted the fact that you already work downtown and you around the corner from where you need to go. Imagine if you worked on the southwest side.
Oh, yeah, you done.
So for us on the southwest side, I'm aging myself, but before cameras and all that, women had to be transported to Macau.
Okay.
Men had to be transported to downtown. I'm on the southwest side. So you got to, and then if you had some dope or something to tag, you had to go, say it's a woman, you got to take her to Macau, then you got to go downtown to go tag it. And then you got to drive back to the southwest side to go do your report if you ain't had nobody to help you out.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I ride one man. So
yeah, I do too.
What I've learned,
I'm a delegator.
I'm delegating king. You come up on my scene. Hey, I need you to knock this out. Bring it back to me when you're done. I need you to knock this out. Transport with that. I delegate.
I got you on lunch, man. Just go tag this for me, please.
I got you on lunch, and when you get called, you need some help. I got you back.
That's good, man. We've talked about funny calls, impactful calls, serious ones, and how we deal with it. The trauma it can cause us and the people that are involved, man. We hope y'all enjoyed this show. We're going to go into some more law enforcement stuff and some other episodes, but I think that wraps up episode 6.
I think it does, man. We covered a little bit of everything, with different type of calls, perspectives, funny, sad,
for sure,
all that. So
we hope y'all enjoyed it, man. We appreciate y'all for tuning in on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Like we always say, send us a message, send us a DM so we can get to what y'all want us to cover. And we'll catch y'all
talk
next time.
To us, we talk back.
We do talk back, man. And at the end of the day, run your race at your pace. And I guarantee when you lift your head up in your lane, you'll be moving on purpose. See y'all next time.
Peace and love.